One fact for every original move in Pokemon, ranging from Sand Attack breaking all Pokemon logic, to an instance where Splash actually does damage, to the real reason why Rest is called Rest. Let's do this. Pound. Pound is the very first move in all of Pokemon, since it has index number 1 in the game's coding. Karate Chop. Karate Chop was previously a normal type move in the original games, but now it is a fighting type move. Double Slap. In the anime, Chansey used Double Slap on Meowth and slapped him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 times. Now that's a true Double Slap. Comet Punch. Based on his dex entry, Kangaskhan is especially skilled at using the move Comet Punch, and this probably plays to the fact that Kangaskhan is based on a cartoony boxing kangaroo. Mega Punch. One of the rarest events in Scarlet and Violet is a Pokemon using the move Mega Punch, because as of right now, no Pokemon can learn it, and the only way to see the move in action is by using Metronome. Payday. The move Payday can earn a maximum of 999,999 Pokédollars in a single battle, and in order to do this, you would have to use the move a whopping 5,000 times in one battle. Now that's a lot of money. Fire Punch. In Black and White, it is said in Embor's dex entry that it can throw a Fire Punch by setting his fist on fire with his fiery chin. But the thing is, Embor can't even learn Fire Punch in those games. So basically, it's a liar! Ice Punch. Blaziken was shown using the move Ice Punch for a promotion for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, even though it couldn't actually learn the move. So basically, Blaziken is also a liar! Thunder Punch. Melton is programmed to learn Thunder Punch when evolving in the games, but this is not possible because it can only evolve in Pokemon Go. Scratch. The move Scratch is essentially a starter move, because in every game except for Black and White, at least one starter Pokemon knows it. Vice Grip. To this day, it is impossible to have a Pokemon naturally use Vice Grip with Stab, since no normal type Pokemon learn it. The only true way to gain Stab is if they metronome, sketch, or mimic the move. Guillotine. Even though Guillotine is supposed to be a 1-hit KO move, Machamp for some reason was able to survive the move in the anime, so that Machamp is clearly cheating. Razor Wind. Razor Wind is essentially a combination move, because on the first turn it whips up a whirlwind, and then on the second turn it makes the whirlwind all razorly. Swords Dance. Normally Machamp cannot learn the move Swords Dance, but for some reason Machamp was able to use it in a Battle CD in XD Guild of Darkness. So Machamp do be cheating once again. Cut. The move Cut can be used outside of battle to cut grass. Gust. Originally, the legendary bird trio couldn't learn the move Gust, which if you ask me is a giant fail, especially for the legendary birds. Wing Attack. Only in Pokemon Sword and Shield, Charmander can learn Wing Attack through breeding, even though it doesn't have wings. Whirlwind. This is what happens if you use Whirlwind on Sudowoodo in the original Johto games. It just kinda blows away. Fly. This is what Doduo and Dodrio look like when they fly in Pokemon Stadium. They just kinda flutter kick like Yoshi. Bind. Even though Bind is a normal type move, it was still able to affect ghost type Pokemon in the original games, which makes absolutely no sense on so many levels. Slam. In the early Spanish versions of Pokemon, Slam was mistranslated to the word Portazo, which literally means door slam. So as far as Spanish players were concerned, their Pokemon could attack by slamming a door, a non-existent door that wasn't even around. Vine Whip. Vine Whip is the only move in all of Pokemon that has a base power of 45, which is kind of surprising. Stomp. The move Stomp will always hit and deal double damage to an opponent that uses the move Minimize, because they're basically an insect. Double Kick. The move Double Kick is pretty much the only efficient way to defeat Brock in Pokemon Yellow, and the only way to get the move is to catch a Nidoran on Route 22 and then level it up to 12. Mega Kick. Dusknoir can learn Mega Kick somehow, even though it doesn't have any legs. Oh, and somehow Snorlax can learn the move too, and he even does it in the anime. Jump Kick. The Japanese name for Jump Kick is Drop Kick, while the Japanese name for High Jump Kick is Jumping Knee Kick. Rolling Kick. Hitmonlee had 3 whole signature moves to itself in the original games, with the moves being Rolling Kick, Jump Kick, and High Jump Kick. And then in Generation 2, it was given a 4 signature move, with the move being Mega Kick, since it was no longer a TM. Sand Attack. Even though Sand Attack was changed from a normal type move to a ground type move in Generation 2, it still affects flying type Pokemon to this day, even while moves like Scorching Sand and Sandsear Storm do not. Headbutt. The encounter rate of Pokemon that appear by headbutting trees is all dependent on your trainer ID. So basically, if you aren't finding any Pokemon by headbutting trees, it's literally a you problem. Horn Attack. Horn Attack was the first move ever used in the anime, where it was used by a Nidorino. Fury Attack. There's a location in the Paldea region named after the move Fury Attack, with its name being Fury Falls, and Fury Attack Falls in Japanese. Ironically though, the legendary that is found there cannot learn the move. Horn Drill. Goldeen's trophy description in Super Smash Bros. Brawl reads, among the techniques you can master, Horn Drill is very reliable. And this description sparked the notorious fan theory that Goldeen had a 1% chance of using Horn Drill when summoned, when in reality, it always just does nothing. Tackle. There are 537 Pokemon that can learn the move Tackle, and 520 of those Pokemon automatically come with the move. Body Slam. The move Body Slam led to the discovery that, in the original games, Pokemon are immune to secondary effects from moves they share the same typing with. So, for example, Kangaskhan can be paralyzed by Body Slam, since they share the same normal typing. Wrap. In Pokemon Stadium, the animation for Wrap looks a lot like Silly String. Nowadays, the animation looks like a nod to Ekans. Takedown. Takedown makes it incredibly difficult to catch Shiny Beldum, since it's the only move that Beldum can learn. Thrash. Thrash is one of the best moves to use in Pokemon Red speedrunning, since it has a quick text box animation and lasts a few turns. Double Edge. The Japanese name for Double Edge translates to life-risking tackle, which explains why it has recoil damage. Tail Whip. Blizzy can learn Tail Whip, even though it doesn't have a tail. So basically, it's just shaking its booty at its enemies. No wonder it lowers their defense. Poison Sting. Poison Sting from Generation 1 might have the worst animation in all of Pokemon, since it was just an 8-pointed star that would appear for a split second. Like that. Twin Needle. Before Slazzle's Corrosion and Loyal 3's Toxic Chain abilities, Twin Needle was the only way to poison a Steel-type Pokemon, and it can only occur in Generation 2. Pin Missile. Pin Missile is the reason why Bug-type Pokemon were so bad in the original games, since only Beedrill could get stabbed with this move, and that it was the strongest Bug-type move in the game with a base power of 14. Leer. The Japanese name for Leer is Glare, while the Japanese name for Glare is Snake Glare. Bite. Bite went from being a physical move to a special move to a physical move again in the first 3 generations, which is the most times a move's category has been changed. Growl. Growlithe can't learn Growl. Growlithe. Growl. Roar. Roaring Moon cannot learn Roar. Roaring Moon. Roar. Sing. In Pokemon Yellow, there's a Jigglypuff in Pewter City that will sing the player's Pikachu to sleep. And your Pikachu will just stay there until you wake it up, and you can't even interact with it in your party or in your PC or even heal it, which is pretty cool. Supersonic. 55% of people watching this video will be confused by this fact. Let me know if you're the 45% in the comments. Sonic Boom. Only in the Japanese versions of the Johto games, Sonic's Boom animation is a shockwave, and this shockwave is a reference to Gal's Sonic Boom move in Street Fighter, which is really cool. Disable. In Super Smash Bros., Mewtwo's down special is Disable, and it simply just stuns the target instead of disabling a move. Acid. The move Acid has no effect on Steel-type Pokemon, even though in real life, Acid is very effective against most metals. Even in the anime, we see Jessie's Arbok using Acid to disintegrate metal, and she does this twice. Ember. Ember is the only Fire-type move that is cute in contests. Flamethrower. Jupiter's Skuntank looks like it's shooting a flamethrower out of his butt in Pokemon Platinum. Game Freak knew what they were doing. Mist. There's a Japanese exclusive event Pokemon called Ash's Restroom that has the move Mist. Water Gun. The glitch Pokemon Missing No is able to learn 2 copies of Water Gun at the same time. Hydro Pump. The way Ash's Squirtle uses Hydro Pump in the anime is a reference to Gamora's Spinning Flight in the Godzilla movies. Surf. There's an unused surfboard item in the original games that works just like Surf. And Pikachu surfing on a surfboard in Pokemon Yellow and in Pokemon Stadium is probably a nod to this unused item. Ice Beam. In the Sinnoh remakes, Flowcell literally shoots ice beams from his butt. Blizzard. Every Ice-type Pokemon is able to learn Blizzard, all except for Snom, because it sucks. Psybeam. The move Psybeam became a TM 26 years after its debut in Pokemon Red and Green, which is like a quarter century. Bubble Beam. In Generation 2 only, Remoraid learns the moves Bubble Beam, Psybeam, and Aurora Beam all at level 22, and this is because Remoraid is based on a revolver, as you can see by its beta sprite. Aurora Beam. Generation 3 is the only generation that creates an Aurora when using Aurora Beam. All the other games just shoot a beam with a blank sky or a black sky. Hyper Beam. Lance not only has his Dragonite use Hyper Beam on a human in the Johto games, but he also has his Dragonair use the move on Vermilion City in the manga, destroying half of the entire city. Peck. Some of Pidgeotto's Density state that it will fiercely peck at any intruder. However, Pidgeotto is unable to learn the move Peck, and for that matter, none of the Pidgeline can. Drill Peck. Fearow is regarded as one of the best Ritual Pokemon in the Stadium games, due to it having the move Drill Peck, since it gains Stab. Submission. The Japanese name for Submission is Hell Wheel, which is why its animation looks like a wheel of fire, even though it's a fighting type move. Low Kick. The Pokemon Flamingo is considered to be one of the best Pokemon to use in Scarlet and Violet Titan speedruns, since in the early game, it can completely abuse the move Low Kick on the giant Pokemon, since it does more damage. Counter. The move Counter could literally counter items in the original games. Like literally, it would actually do damage if you use an item. Seismic Toss. Pokemon Stadium's description for Seismic Toss states that it has enough force to flip the world upside down. So I guess every Pokemon that can learn this move power scales to Earth Destroyer level, including Happiny. Strength. In the original Sinnoh games, there was a glitch with the move Strength, where it would move your Pokemon sprite to the right by 2 pixels. So technically, if you use this move enough times in a single battle, your Pokemon can be moved off the entire screen. Absorb. During the Generation 2 era, there were a lot of weird event Pokemon, but probably the weirdest one was a Panphy that had the move Absorb. So I guess this particular elephant was capable of photosynthesis. Mega Drain. In Scarlet and Violet, the moves Absorb and Mega Drain have similar animations, except that Mega Drain has 2 orbs instead of 1, showing that it's twice as powerful. Leech Seed. Even though Leech Seed is based on the mistletoe, a parasitic plant that grows on trees, grass-type Pokemon are unaffected by it, which makes little sense. Growth. In the games, Growth only helps the user, while in the anime, Growth gives power to the other Pokemon instead. Razor Leaf. In the Adventures manga, Diamond Sword Terra has a move with the longest name in all of Pokemon, with the move being Dia Mach 1 and only Razor Leaf. Solar Beam. In the Let's Go game, Solar Beam's base power is 200 instead of 120. And to put that into perspective, that is as powerful as Self-Destruct and 4 different Z moves. Poison Powder. The move Poison Powder might have the most weaknesses out of all moves, because Poison Steel, a Grass-type Pokemon, Pokemon with the Overcoat ability, and Pokemon holding safety goggles are all immune to it. Stun Spore. There's an anime exclusive cure for Stun Spore known as Sylveoweed, and it looks like this. Sleep Powder. In the Mystery Dungeon game, Sleep Powder affects all surrounding enemies, which actually makes more sense, but will be totally broken in the main series games. Pedal Dance. Lilligant is the master of the move Pedal Dance, since it has the ability Own Tempo, which prevents confusion after using the move for 2 to 3 turns. String Shot. The most complex manipulation in Pokemon Red speedrunning makes a bug catcher in Viridian Forest use the move String Shot. And that's all I'm going to say because this manipulation is crazy. Dragon Rage. In Generation 1 only, Growlithe was able to learn Dragon Rage via TM, which doesn't make that much sense, but maybe it was because Arcanine was known as the legendary Pokemon. Fire Spin. Fire Spin was the only Fire-type move that couldn't burn in the original games, meaning that it was the only Fire-type move that can be used on a frozen target without thawing them. Thundershock. Thundershock and Thunderbolt have the same name in the finished versions of Pokemon, with the word being Ukasisku, which I can only imagine gets pretty confusing. Thunderbolt. The Japanese name for Thunderbolt is 100,000 volts, and to put that into perspective, a mere 100 volts can unalive anyone. Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave is the only status move that takes the type chart into account, since it can't hit ground-type Pokemon. Thunder. The Japanese name for the move Thunder is Lightning, which makes a lot more sense and is what the electric type is called in the TCG, the Lightning type. Rock Throw. Rock Throw is the first move used by a human in the anime, with Ash throwing a rock at Spearow in the first episode. Earthquake. The move Earthquake debuted in the anime through a Togepi using Metronome, which is really funny. Fissure. Giovanni states in the original games that he created the TM for Fissure, so essentially Giovanni is the one responsible for this move, just like how Koga is responsible for the move Toxic. Dig. It is faster to dig out of a building when standing on a warp tile. Toxic. Koga states that the move Toxic is a secret technique that is over 400 years old and was passed down through his family, but it must have been a pretty bad secret since literally every Pokemon can learn it. Confusion. The moves Water Pulse and Rock Climb have a 20% chance of confusing the target, while Axe Kick has a 30% chance, but the move Confusion itself only has a mere 10%, which makes no sense. Psychic. There are 6 Psychic-type Pokemon that can't learn the move Psychic, with the Pokemon being Unknown, Wobbuffet, Wynaut, Cosmog, Cosmoem, and Pal-style Oricorio. Hypnosis. There's a move tutor in XD Gale of Darkness that will only teach moves to Mew, with the moves being Hypnosis, Feint Attack, Fake Out, Nightshade, Roleplay, and Zap Cannon. Meditate. Meditate had an unused animation and sound effect in the Sinnoh remakes, and this is what it looks like. Agility. If you evolve a Nakata at level 38, Shedinja will learn the move Agility through Najask, even though it's not supposed to learn this move. Quick Attack. The Japanese name for Quick Attack is Lightning Speed. No wonder Ash's Pikachu uses it all the time. Rage. Every Pokemon from the original games can learn the move Rage, except for Caterpie, Metapod, Weedle, Kakuna, Magikarp, and Ditto. I guess they're all just level-headed Pokemon. Teleport. The move Teleport was changed in Generation 8 where it was given low priority, so now bulky Pokemon like Slowbro could take a hit, then swap to an offensive Pokemon, which is not that bad. Nightshade. The Japanese name for Nightshade is Nighthead, and back in the original games, it was Gastly's signature move. So basically, a Ghost Head used Nighthead. Mimic. Nearly every Pokemon that learns Mimic naturally are Pokemon that are mimicking something, like Sudowoodo mimicking a tree, Mr. Mime mimicking literally anything, Mimikyu mimicking Pikachu, and I guess Jigglypuff mimicking a balloon. Screech. Galarian and Mr. Mime can learn the move Screech, even though Mimes are known for not making noises. Double Team. Double Team is basically the Shadow Clone Jutsu from Naruto, since they both share the same Japanese name, which is Kagebushin. Recover. In the original games, the moves Recover, Soft Boil, and Rest will all fail if the Pokemon loses exactly 255 or 511 HP, which is pretty random and unlucky. Harden. In an official Pokemon newspaper strip, there's a comic of a Metapod deflecting a flamethrower with his Harden. Minimize. This is what Minimize looks like in the anime. Smokescreen. The Horsey line is the sole reason why the description for Smokescreen was changed, since it went from creating an obscure cloud of smoke to creating an obscure cloud of smoke or ink. Confuse Ray. There is an official guidebook that describes Confuse Ray as a Haunter type move, Withdraw. Technically, Turtwig gets a water type move before it learns a grass type move, since Withdrawal is a water type move. Defense Curl. Defense Curl has a hidden effect of raising the power of the moves Rollout and Ice Ball, which is how Shuckle deals 721 billion damage in this video I did right here. Barrier. Mew using Barrier in the first Pokemon movie is one of the very few instances where we see Mew using a move that it cannot learn, possibly being the only instance. Light Screen. This is what Light Screen looks like in the anime. Haze. Just like Thundershock and Thunderbolt, Haze and Mist have the same Finnish name too, with the word being Sumu. Man, it must be very confusing in that country. Reflect. The move Reflect has special text in the original game that says Pokemon gained armor. So basically, if Mewtwo uses this move, you literally have an armored Mewtwo. Focus Energy. Focus Energy in Generation 1 is the worst move of all time, even worse than Splash, because instead of increasing your critical hit ratio, it decreases it due to a glitch. Bide. If Bide is used while a Pokemon is evolving, it will stop the evolution, as seen with Dawn's Piplup. Metronome. The rarest thing that could ever happen in Pokemon is landing every move in index order with the move Metronome, and I calculated these odds in this video here. Mirror Move. The Japanese name for Mirror Move is Parrot Mimic Cry, which is why it can only be naturally learned by bird Pokemon. Self-Destruct. If the player's last Pokemon uses Self-Destruct on the opponent's last Pokemon in the original games, the victory music will play, even though the player blacks out and loses money. So basically, mission failed, successfully. Egg Bomb. Execute can learn Egg Bomb, which basically means that one of the eggs is doing a kamikaze attack. Lick. Lickitung couldn't learn Lick in Generation 1. Lickitung. Lick. Smog. James's Weezing is the only poison-type Pokemon that has used Smog in the anime. The rest of the Pokemon are fire types. Sludge. There are a lot of things in Pokemon that have Sludge in it. There's the move Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave, the item Black Sludge, and there's even a location in Hisui called Sludge Mountain. Bone Club. The accuracy for Bone Club is 85%, while the accuracy for Bone Meringue is 90%, which means that Cubone and Marowak have a better chance of throwing their bone and hitting their target than simply smacking them with it, which makes no sense. Fire Blast. The symbol that Fire Blast emits is based on the Damonji Fire Festival held in Japan, where 5 giant bonfires are lit on the mountains surrounding the city. Waterfall. Waterfall was a signature move of Goldeen and Seaking in Generation 1, before it became an HM move in Generation 2. Clamp. Clamp was a signature move for Shellder in Generations 1 and 2, and is basically required for it to evolve into Slowbro. Swift. In the Electric Tail of Pikachu manga, Pikachu chews on its own fur and spits it out in order to use Swift. So I guess this is really what's going on when Pokemon use this move. Skull Bash. The Japanese name for Skull Bash is Rocket Headbutt, yet no one in Team Rocket, Team Skull, or even Team Skull from the Mystery Dungeon games use this move. Spike Cannon. Ammonite can learn Spike Cannon, even though it has no spikes. Constrict. The move Constrict has a base power of 10, making it the weakest move in all of Pokemon when it comes to base power. Amnesia. The move Amnesia was only ever used once in the anime by a Slowbro. Kinesis. The move Kinesis is the rarest move in Generation 1, because no Pokemon was able to learn it, and it can only appear as a random result of Metronome. Soft Boiled. You can heal your Pokemon in your party by using Soft Boiled. High Jump Kick. High Jump Kick may have the shortest move description in all of Pokemon, because in Generation 2, it reads, may miss and hurt the user, and that's it. Glare. Glare's description states that the user intimidates a target with a pattern on his belly, so I guess Druddigon has a terrifying belly. Dream Eater. This is what Dream Eater looks like in the anime, and it looks pretty dang awesome. Poison Gas. Drowsy and Hypno are able to naturally learn Poison Gas through level up, for whatever disgusting reason. Barrage. The move Barrage has never appeared in the main series anime, but has appeared in the series Pokemon Origins, and that's what it looks like. Leech Life. The move Leech Life got a massive buff in Generation 7, from having a base power of 20 to a whopping 80, and now weaker Pokemon who used to learn the move learn Absorb instead. Lovely Kiss. The Japanese name for Lovely Kiss is Demon's Kiss, which is shown in its early animations. Sky Attack. The Japanese name for Sky Attack is Godbird, and the original Pokemon that could learn this move was Moltres. So I guess this rubber chicken is a true god over Arceus. Transform. In the early games, Pokemon that use Transform via Mimic retain their original coloring. Bubble. There were 2 Event Magikarp released during the Generation 2 era. One new Bubble and the other new Reversal. Dizzy Punch. The Japanese name for Dizzy Punch is Chirp Chirp Punch, which explains the confusion birds that appear in its animation. Spore. Every odd-numbered generation has introduced a mushroom Pokemon that can actually learn the move Spore, with the Pokemon being Perish, Shrimish, Fungus, Morlul, and Toadschool. Flash. The ruins of Elf have hidden rooms, and one of the rooms require using the move Flash. Psywave. Psywave is responsible for 2 glitches in the original games. One glitch desinks a Link battle, and the other creates an infinite loop in any battle. Splash. The move Splash actually does damage in the training card game. Acid Armor. In the original games, Acid Armor turns the Pokemon sprite invisible for no real reason. Crab Hammer. Despite being a crab, Crustle can't learn the move Crab Hammer, so I guess it's not a real crab, like Krabby. Explosion. Explosion may have the highest base power at 250, but there are other moves that can easily surpass it, with the highest one being Last Respects at 5050 if the user had a Pokemon Fate 100 times. Fury Swipes. The move Fury Swipes randomly has a base power of 18, making it only one of 2 moves in all of Pokemon to not be a multiple of 5, with the other move being Comet Punch. Bone Meringue. If you throw a rock at a bird, it is super effective, but if you throw a bone at a bird with Bone Meringue, it has no effect. Pokemon Logic. Rest. According to Webster's friend in the Johto region, rest is just an abbreviation for recover fast, with the first 2 letters of recover and the last 2 letters of fast. Rock Slide. Before Rock Slide could flinch, the little girl who gives a player the Rock Slide TM states that it can spook the target sometimes. Hyper Fang. Hyper Fang's Japanese name, Certain Kill Fang, is false advertising, since it's not a one-hit knockout move. Sharpen. The move Sharpen is a pretty obscure move that you probably forgot about, since it was Porygon's signature move for a while, and it isn't even that good. Conversion. This is what Conversion looks like in the anime, and was only seen in the banned episode. Tri-Attack. The only way to burn a Fire-type Pokemon or freeze an Ice-type Pokemon is to use Tri-Attack on them in Generation 2. Super Fang. Super Fang was able to hit Ghost-type Pokemon in Generation 1, so I guess it really was Super. Slash. In Generation 1, critical hits were based on speed, so a Persian using Slash had a 99.6% chance of getting a critical hit, making it a pretty scary opponent. Substitute. In Pokemon Battle Revolution, the Substitute doll will not swap out, and use the moves as if it's battling, which can look pretty silly. And finally, we have the move Struggle. We have never seen what the move Struggle looks like in the anime, but here's a glimpse of 3 Pokemon using it in the Adventures manga. They kinda just flail over there and then take recoil damage. And be sure to watch my 1 fact for every town in Pokemon video right here.